Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of the Blue Devil Podcast.
Second? Ooh.
We are here with Mr. Dimich. Or can I call you Frank now? Because technically I've graduated.
No, not that when this is going out to the school. No, sorry.
Okay. We are here with Mr. Dimich. He is a longtime teacher and a longtime friend of mine.
You're number 10.
On your friends list?
No, you're number 10 of teaching. So you're number 10.
Oh, I thought you said I'm.
You said long 10. Time. I'm being more specific. You're number 10.
You're number 10. Is that at Lake Fenton or just in general?
Yeah, Lake Fenton. This will be your 10.
So I just wrapped the first episode with Mr. Gonder, and I wasn't...
Big boost for Mr. Gonder.
Yes. We talked about that. So if you haven't already seen the first episode, go watch that. You can't because it hasn't gone out yet.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So anyway, yeah, him and I talked a lot about that. And so I had intents of having you as our second guest because there was the two biggest requests for people to interview was Mr. Gonder and Mr. Dimich.
Oh, Gonder. Yeah,
so
he's always more popular than me.
I think people might have wanted you first.
Oh well, one of those middle schoolers are gonna.
Kidding. Everybody loves
middle schoolers
Mr.
are gonna love the tight ship that he's gonna run.
Well, we talked about that and how he was gonna handle all those hooligans.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got done with that, and I was like, man, I wonder if Mr. Dimich is here to see if we could record his podcast right now.
Oh, you're trying to.
So sure enough, I look out in the parking lot, and here you are. And so I go up to your room, and it's a big empty room, and there's no Mr. Dimich, and I'm like, they fired him.
Well,
he's gone.
One could hope. Some people could hope. I don't know. No, we talked about. I think I talked about this last year. So me and Travis Rinks, Travis Rinks, switched rooms. So he's more with the math teachers, and I'm more down by Miss Garceau, Miss McPherson. So we switched rooms.
That makes sense, but it caught me. I had no idea, and it caught me completely off guard. I was like,
so yeah, I'm down in the B wing at the end now, and he's in my old room.
Yes. So I walk in, and I finally find you, and I walk in, and you're putting together your room. And a
lot of work to do when you move.
There is a lot of work to do, and so I approach you about being on the podcast, and you were not ready by any means.
No, it's hot in here. The air conditioning's not working upstairs. I'm sweating.
Well, it wasn't working in here earlier, and so now we're good.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel that.
Explain to me what you had to do to get ready for this podcast.
Yeah. People wonder why I carry extra clothing around because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to spill something on yourself or if you're going to be asked to do something like be in a podcast.
Yeah, you never know who could randomly show up and ask you to be in a podcast.
So you carry around an extra shirt.
It happens more often than you think.
Or you'd be surprised if you spill something on yourself or extra shirts, or usually it's just for like a night event like parent-teacher conferences or something else that you might have to change, but
or
like
for the simple fact of you might just spend the night here and then wake up the next morning and you have clothes.
I'm not doing any of that. The new room is not.
It's not equipped for.
No, it's not going to be equipped, and there's going to be less time here.
Wow,
that's the new school year resolution. My wife
was it a conversation your wife and you had to sit down and say, okay, honey, you need to start coming home a little bit more?
Maybe not, I don't know.
So well, I guess we'll table that one for a second. What have you been doing this summer?
What have I been doing?
Because I know you love your job, which I 100% respect, and I think that's awesome. So, like, how do you go the summer without your job, or do you still work over the summer?
I don't know. I still do. We did some professional development. I did some. I went to a conference. I don't know. I spent. The biggest thing, I had to do things at home. We had to do carpeting, so I had to move a bunch of stuff out of our rooms in the interior part, everything out, take everything out, put everything back in. I'm sure I don't know if everybody's ever experienced having new carpeting, but that's what you have to do. So that was fun and that was exciting. And then I don't know, there hasn't been I've been doing some schoolwork in preparation, but sometimes I
Any
haven't
travels?
been. No travels
travels?
this year. No, haven't had time or spent a lot of money on other things. So haven't had
carpet.
like carpeting. Yeah, like $5,000 in carpeting. Yeah.
Holy cow! So you got top of the line then?
No, it was not top of the line. It's called inflation. Carpeting's expensive. That's for a condo. It's not even that exciting as far as carpeting that much stuff. It's just.
Do you have a picture you could send us to put in the video here?
Of my carpeting?
Yeah.
Probably. I can send you something. I'll have to look.
Okay.
I think I do have stuff, but it wouldn't be the completed product, but it'll be something that's torn up. Yeah.
That's right. You can email it to me, and then we'll throw it in.
I'll throw it in so you can see the torn up office where I work at the wee hours of the morning when people.
Is that when you get your best work done?
Yes. People think I don't know. Some people have different. The only problem with being a teacher for me is that I get up in the morning and I do fine, but my best thinking, my best like work comes like later in the evening.
What time do you typically get up in the morning? So you're up until like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, well, yeah. Sometimes power naps come into play because there's no way to make it work. But
like during the school day too?
No, and I get home, power naps, and then get back up and work.
Have you ever fallen asleep like during a class? Like while you were teaching?
No, God, no. I do no. There's too much activities going on. I have too much to do in class. I'm too active.
So you've got a lot going on in class, but during the summer, like what kind of things are you working on during the summer if you don't have any classes going on?
Sometimes you work at a master's class for college. You work a little bit of that.
You
always have to continue. Doing continuing ed. I worked a little bit on that. I worked on some long-term work for my classes, like trying to do some switching up, which I'm not going to get into here because it's too complicated. But there's some
we've
others.
Got time. I don't want to speak for the viewers, but we've got time.
Just doing work with revamping some stuff in my
Does Ms. Van Houten know about this?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just revamping some work in classes and stuff, and I need that I'm going to explain what. I mean, she doesn't know every detail, but she knows the general gist. Yes.
She knows that you're completely redoing every ounce of curriculum.
No. We're not doing curriculum. More just the some of the way that grading policies and stuff lay out. So it's not going to be but I'll explain that to the kids. I'm not going to get it because I don't have enough information.
You don't want to talk to the entire community.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah. So when do you want to make that official announcement? Do you want to come back?
No, it's not worth doing all that. It's just for my class. It's not a big deal. Okay. It's not a big enough deal for that. It's not that exciting, first of all.
Well, I'm pretty psyched about it.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be something that I don't think would reel in your viewers. There's other things. You could talk to Miss Rowe. That'll reel in the viewers.
She'll be on here. So she doesn't know it, but she's on my list of people that I want to get on here.
She's on the list. Yes,
she's on the list.
She's a good person. Oh, that's the other thing. I feel old now because that's the first time I've crossed the bridge of having a colleague now who I had in class. So I had
you had Mr. Gonder in class?
No, I had Miss Rowe in class.
Oh!
That's the first time that I will have working with someone who I've had in class. Other teachers around here, that's pretty commonplace.
Well,
but
you had me. I mean,
but you're not.
I was working here and I was in your class, and so
you're not a teacher.
Was that a big?
I'm talking about a
you?
teacher. I'm talking about a teacher.
Okay. All right.
Someone with a degree and a teaching certificate, and I'm talking about a teacher.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I just had I didn't have anything prepared to talk to you about because.
Well, then why are we doing this? Because we're just going off the cuff.
Mr. Dimich, do you remember the interview we did for Lakeview TV during quarantine? We had our quarantine announcements going. And I did
the one where we played the game.
I did a Zoom call with a couple different people.
Okay.
and you were one of the people I did a Zoom call with.
Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And so that's no joke. That's actually what sparked this whole interest of mine of interviewing people and sitting down with people
Okay.
because of how well that interview went. Because with you, I feel like I don't need a list of questions. I think we're such good friends that we could sit down and talk all day long.
Don, yeah, it's like you should pay attention to you should pay attention to the old Tonight Show with not with Fallon, because Fallon sucks. And not with Jay Leno.
No.
Not with Jay Leno, because Jay Leno's meh. But the Johnny Carson, you should pay to. He's a fantastic interviewer, and sometimes he could have people on. And
so are you putting
questions.
me? Are you putting me in line with him?
No. I'm saying no. Nobody's in line with him. I'm saying that he could do things if he knew people well enough. He could do things off the cuff because he didn't have to have a script, because you can just easily have a conversation.
Right.
Some people you can easily do that.
I didn't actually pay attention to what time we started, so I don't even know how long. Let me check the recording.
Oh, you're gonna splice this now, okay?
No. 11 minutes.
How long are you trying to fill?
Well, so I didn't know what to expect with Mr. Gonder, and I think with Mr. Gonder we ran about a half hour.
Well, I think Gonder's got more to talk about.
Oh, I think we could easily fill 2 hours. Are you free for the next 2 hours?
No, I don't have 2 hours. I'm working in my room, setting things up. It's very exhausting and tedious. And then
well,
and believe it or not, I'm a little bit lazy in the summer. I don't work as good as sometimes as I should in the summer. I tend to be a little bit more lackadaisical sometimes in the summer. I'm not as good of a worker in the summer as maybe I should be.
Is that like a New Year's resolution that you want to work on, or
no, not really.
But you deserve a break. I mean, you work your butt off throughout the entire school year. I think.
Yeah, well, it would probably make life. Well, supposedly would make life easier if you worked a little more in the summer, but it's not. It's not anything that hopefully we'll be able to get through. But anyways, yeah. So
wait, back up.
What?
You don't think this is something that you'll be able to get through?
No. I said that working in the summer, it doesn't really make the school year. Sometimes there's mixed opinions on whether it can make the school year go better or something like that. Because sometimes things crop up anyways.
Yeah.
That just you have to deal with. So It is what it is.
Sorry, that was very rude of me to look at my watch. But
earlier
I got a phone call while we were doing the podcast, and so
a phone call. So what? Where do you're at the Rock Church?
I am. So I left the high school. Out of high school, I went and took a position over at the Rock Church. But it wasn't about that. It was actually a BT Media phone call.
Oh, the BT Media, the people calling for people trying to hook up for your services.
No, it was one of my new hires, actually. His name was Nick. So not one, but 2 shout outs for Mr. Nick, because he got a shout out in the last podcast for calling me in the middle of the podcast. So this is his second shout out. Maybe we'll get Nick on here one day.
What is Nick doing?
Well, I can't actually tell you that because Nick is working on a top secret project.
Top secret.
That we have in the works coming soon. I would guess within the next month. So by the time this episode is out, there's a very good chance that this has already been released. But in the off chance that it is not, I cannot disclose that information to you.
I see.
But there is a new chapter coming, and I'm excited about that.
A new chapter of BT Media?
Yes.
Okay. I see.
So
I see. So who are you? Who have you trained in at Lakeview TV to do your work?
Well,
who have we trained? Miss Brigida will love this question.
One of my favorite tasks that I had at Lakeview TV was anything to do with you.
What about Gonder?
Whenever.
What about Miss Van Houten?
Well, Miss Van Houten would never let me do anything with her.
She's a busy woman. She's got. When she needed something done, she's a busy woman.
Well, okay. So anyway, whenever your name was brought up in conversation, like when planning videos and stuff, I had to be a part of that video. I had to make sure that, because
where's yeah, so I don't. Okay, well, some of the stuff we've done is pretty good. Like some of it, I enjoyed the mask thing. I got to come up. Oh, that's another thing I got to plan. I got to plan a Constitution Day thing.
Costumes.
I got to plan another. That was good. The Constitution Day thing we did. I got to plan that again. I got to think about what else to do.
So what's funny is you walked in here and you thought this was going to be another prank. Because whenever I have you in this room, it's typically
that was once. You did that, and it took me 2 help desks to get my stuff back in order. Two help desks.
For those of you who didn't see that video on Lakeview TV, we pranked Mr. Dimich by telling him that we were bringing him down here to the studio to record a podcast.
Fake interview.
It was a fake interview, and actually, I think we still have that footage.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Because we recorded. We actually did record a little thing, but it wasn't a real podcast. At the time, we were in the planning stages of this podcast.
Oh.
And so here we are. This is the real podcast now.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Not with Francis asking me fake questions. Okay.
You want to hear a secret? I'm just kidding. This is not a podcast.
What are we doing now?
This is another prank.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully not. I got enough work to do in my room. I don't have time to. There's nothing you could tear up in my room.
They're up there right now taking everything out to my car, and I'm going to take it back home.
Okay. You could have the stuff that's in there.
No, I'm just kidding. This is a real podcast. And I'm excited to be here and doing this. I was telling Mr. Gondar I've never done a podcast before. I really don't even care for podcasts that much.
No, I don't listen to them. No, so no offense. I don't. So one media I don't get into. I mean, so many other medias that to occupy your time. I mean, like Twitter. People say like Twitter. I always tell kids this. I always just follow Twitter for like news. So like I don't ever post anything to Twitter, but I follow tons of people because Twitter's like a giant news
feed. You follow
feed.
me, right?
Yeah. Twitter's a giant news feed. Like it's just it, and so there's like news. As a social studies teacher, you have to keep up on your news. So I use that to keep up on my news and commentary, and then Facebook is for the friends. So you're telling me
you don't use Lakeview TV to keep up with all your news?
Not national news. I have to keep up with national and state news.
So if there was something that was going to change at Lakeview TV, your request would be to start covering more national news?
No, you don't want to. That's not your audience. That's not your. I was a journalism. I was a newspaper reporter and stuff. Your audience is local. You're not. That's not your audience.
I remember.
I do that because I have to incorporate and talk about current events in class and be up to date. So
true. I remember when I first started doing public relations at Lakeview TV, you sat down with me and you had this whole it wasn't like an official sit down, but you had all of these questions about because you used to be in public relations, so you were heavily questioning my ability to do my job.
Yes.
And I mean, I felt like I did decent. How do you feel like I did now that I'm out of?
Well, some of what you do is marketing. It's not you talk about BT. I always get between Lakeview TV, BT Media. A lot of what you do is marketing, which I don't have a value judgment on marketing. I don't do enough. I don't have enough experience with marketing. You seem to get your brand out there pretty well.
I do my best
for your shoestring budget. You seem to get your brand out there pretty well.
This podcast is the Blue Devil Podcast powered by BT Media.
Of course.
It's all about getting your brand out there. So anyway, what did you used to do in public relations?
I worked at a company called Delphi that no longer exists really because you
left the company.
No, God no, because they worked I worked in employee communications and not in so much media relations, mostly employee communications so internal, but and they were a parts maker for GM, and then they spun off and now they've been bought up by another company called Aptiv. It's kind of a complicated affair, but anyways, that's what I used to do. That was like 20 years ago, and then I was a newspaper reporter for a couple of years, and then I got into teaching, and some for a period of time I did a little bit of both. I shuffled both around, like I was part-time there, part-time subbing, and then and then did some years working in various long-term subcapacities till I
Like
finally
McDonald's?
No. Oh, I've had all kinds of. Who hasn't had all kinds of jobs? You'll learn that we all. I wasn't. There, you have all kinds of different jobs when you're growing up. There's all kinds of different jobs that you have. I worked as, or who did worked? I worked at a restaurant when I was in college. I worked. There's the relaunch of the Frank's Happy Bistro on Thompson Road.
Was that named after you?
No. No, that restaurant's been around since the 30s, but like it closed, and then the new owners, the owners had to close it because it was in a dilapidated, old historical building off of Torrey Beach and Eastview, and then it reopened. But I used to work there in college. Like I worked at the old restaurant in college, and then you do other jobs, and worked at a vending company in college. That was, you do all kinds of jobs. A vending warehouse.
What's been your favorite job?
It just depends on the day. It depends on what I'm doing. There are days when this is my favorite job, and there are other days teaching, and there are other days when it's not.
Yeah.
There's other days when sports reporting was my favorite, and there's times when you're trying to get a hold of people and it's not. So I don't know if I have a favorite.
What's your least favorite job?
I didn't like doing PR. I liked the people I worked for. I liked the people I worked with. I just didn't like doing PR. I didn't like doing that. It wasn't my bag. But I mean,
What's your dream job? What do you want to do when you grow up?
I am grown up.
Oh.
I think I'm doing the job I wanted to do. So I'm fine. I'm good.
Next question about the bald.
The what?
The bald.
Don't go bald, kids.
Well,
it is what it is.
I wanted to know the story behind that. Were you just born hairless, or?
No, it was there. I used to have a ton of hair. There was.
You know what? That's right. I just little voice crack there. I've actually seen a picture.
The pictures, yes. There's a picture I usually put up in my classroom. And it's like there's me and you're with the male.
Will you also send that? So we can put that picture in here.
I have to find it. I don't know if I'll find one that's similar. You'll have to give me a second. That'd be way back in my phone, pre 2009. I don't know if I've got anything from that. Yeah, male pattern baldness. It is what it is. You bald, and it's just too hard to maintain. It's too hard to maintain. I didn't like the Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, George Costanza look.
Do you think Mr. Matt Dimich will ever go bald?
No, he's got good hair.
He does.
Yeah, he's got good hair. He won't go bald.
So it doesn't run in the family.
Not every time for everybody.
Okay. Before it was phone calls that were blowing me up.
Now your texts are blowing you up.
Now it's text.
No, it's not everybody in your family goes bald. Sometimes. How's your mother's father, your grandfather, and your mother's side? Is he got hair?
My grandfather on my mother's side, dead.
Well, I know, but was he bald, or did he have hair?
No, he had hair.
Oh, you might be okay. Because
my dad is balding.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say balding. He's just got very thin hair.
My dad's 71, 70. He'll be 72 in November, and he's just like the last 3-4 years, he just started to get thin up right up here, but he still has a very full head of hair. And so, yeah, and all my brothers do. And so, but I got shafted, and then I went bald faster.
I will say you're doing great pulling it off.
Yeah, that's the only thing I have going is there's I have the shaped head for it and without nicks, but that's about the only thing.
I've always wanted to know what I would look like bald, but I don't have the guts to go bald for a period of time.
It is what it is. I didn't intend on having to do this, but it's just a lot easier to maintain. Actually, it's really not, because you have to because my sides would really grow, and I think it would look stupid. You look like ridiculous. You don't need to look like Bernie Sanders or Larry David.
Try it
Larry
out.
David or Bernie Sanders out there with the sides of hair growing out, or George Costanza with the sides of hair growing out and being bald on top. I don't like that look.
Well,
we all said. I'm not quite the interview Gondor is. Gondor had probably more exciting things to tell you about his new ventures, about why he quit band. Why did he quit band?
Well, go watch the podcast and find out. I've been wanting to interview Mr. Gonder for a while, even before that came up. And so that's why I knew Mr. Gonder would be the perfect first guest.
Oh yeah, he's a lot more newsy than I am right now with his new ventures, and yeah.
Do you think you would ever move to a leadership position?
No.
Oh
no, they'll be making no. They'll be no. I could use bad words on the podcast.
No, we can't do that.
They'll be making snow codes and you know where before anybody makes me an administrator. No. Hats off to administrators. I wouldn't want their job.
For sure. Do you feel like you have the attributes for it, or you just don't want to do it at all?
I don't have the attributes, and I don't want to do it.
Well, I think part of being a good leader is having a great work ethic, and I think you've got that down.
That's fine, but I don't have the attributes to motivate people or to deal with the hardest part of what they do.
You really motivated me in class.
No, well, that's in class in a single in your area. It's a little easier, but like just in general, motivating adults and getting everybody, and then kids, and difficult people don't have any good appreciation for how difficult Mr. Cicillo's job is.
Yeah.
Just nothing but dealing with I mean, a lot of dealing with very difficult situations, and he does it so well. But it's very difficult. I would not want his job for anything.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Dimich.
All right, thank you.
I really appreciate you sitting down.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of other people do too. Thank you so much once again for watching.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I got Don Rickles' line here. Wait a minute. Well, I have a toast. This is something from Don Rickles. Never call me 5 minutes before the show.
Cheers to that.
Never call me 5 minutes before the show.
Well, I think it turned out pretty great for being last minute.
Yeah, 5 minutes before the show, I put on a new shirt and washed my head as I was pouring down sweat upstairs.
Mr. Dimich came in here and he was like, I need a towel or something. And there's paper towel over there, and he just started wiping his head down.
It's hot. I mean, it's hot. When you're bald, you pour down sweat. It is what it is.
Well, you do when you have a full head of hair, too. I actually just got a haircut
Yeah, but you've got to absorb
just
your
for
hair.
this podcast.
Good. Your hair absorbs the sweat, and you have a product in your hair.
No? So I use...
Not today, because you got it cut.
Okay, so now people are... Because this is a commonly asked question, so I might as well address it now. What goes into my hair?
Probably gel.
No. Actually, I haven't used gel in years.
Okay.
I used to, like, when I first started caring about my hair, I used gel.
Yeah.
But it was just, like, weird, and it was evidently gel. And...
yeah, it can be a little sticky.
I started using this leave-in conditioner stuff.
Oh, okay.
From Great Clips.
Okay.
And so that's I put that in my hair every day, and it kind of looks like I have something in there, but I actually don't. And it just moisturizes my head and makes me feel magical.
Magical, yeah, and absorbs things. Yeah, just be glad that's your hair absorbs sweat and stuff like that, so it doesn't pour down your face.
I guess while we're on the topic, I need to tell you about my new lotion I got. I was in Tennessee a couple weeks ago, and my cousin got me this new hand lotion, and I'm not really a big on that kind of stuff. But anyway, I got this lotion, and I've been using it every single day. You can't really smell it now, but it smells so good.
Uh-huh.
It's for men.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that was the thing, and it's called Sport.
Okay.
And everybody at the Rock is making fun of me for it, so I'm looking for a little bit more closure here.
I use lotion in the winter. You have to. Your hands get too chapped. Yeah. My head is oily, but my hands get too chapped. Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dimich, for sitting down with us. So I asked Mr. Gonder. He watches a lot of podcasts. So I said, "How do I close this thing?" And he said to thank your guest and then to tell a joke. And so I already used my joke for the day. So I'm going to thank you for coming on.
I did my joke.
What's your joke?
Never call me 5 minutes before the show.
True.
That was the joke. Never call me 5 minutes before the show.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time
on
the Blue Devil Podcast.
Blue Devil Podcast.
Powered by VT Media.
Good marketing.
Thanks.
All right.